I'm gonna
All right,
get a
what's up,
better
man?
light for you.
Yeah, no worries.
Uh, you all right?
Yeah, what's up, man?
I'm good. Yourself?
Really good. How's camp been going?
It's gone really well, thank you. Obviously, I've done with it now, but it's been a good camp. It's been a long one. I've been like trying to get a fight all year, so I've been in the gym since January, chipping away, looking to improve, and then just had to like step it up, little bits in between. But it's been a good camp.
Yeah, so is this the fight you wanted?
Uh, I wouldn't say like Muhammad Walid. He was never signed to Octagon,
Yeah,
so there's not really you can like look at people and be like, oh, I'll fight him next, or I'll fight him next. There's not really many guys signed, so I wouldn't have said like I picked him or he was on my radar until really it got offered.
yeah. So did you bring anyone new in for this fight to your camp?
No, not really. I've always been working with Steve and the guys down Northwest Fight Academy, and then over the past few years, I've been working at Aspire with Dean and Phil, which has been really good. You know, it's been great having their input. And the past couple of fights, I've added Liam McCracken to working some bits with me on my striking game, which has been really beneficial. I feel like I showed a little bit of it in the last fight, but I would like to show more, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to play out and use it this coming weekend.
I didn't
Yeah.
realise there, Aaron. I'll just jump in. So you train at Aspire, do you, with Dean and them lot?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, got you. Are you living Preston ways where?
No, I
Or,
live in Wrexham, you know, mate. I've
oh, right.
always travelled, so I live in Wrexham. This is where my gym is, IPC Wrexham, and I train here in the night. But I met Steve Nightingale when we both used to train at the MMA Academy under Jason Tam. And
Got you.
then when Steve packed in fighting and went to coaching, that's when I started traveling down there because he was like the my other body when we were
Yeah.
training there. So started training down there, and then been working at Aspire now, just for the light guys. And like I said, Dean and Phil have been great, and yeah, that's where I spend most of my time in those three places.
Have you had a bit of sparring with Mo then, with Makayev?
Yeah, I've done rounds.
Nice.
I've done rounds with Mo. I've probably, you know, not I would say regular, but we've probably done about 20 rounds over the past 5 years together when he comes down to Aspire. Or I sparred with him a couple of times in Manchester as well.
Brilliant, yeah, brilliant.
All right, so Octagon 69, you're fighting Muhammad Walid this weekend. What do you think he brings to the table?
I think he's well rounded. He seems to have skills in every department. He's going to be big and strong. I don't think he's ever made flyweight, so he's moving down to this weight category. So imagine he's going to be big for the weight and strong. But yeah, like I'm at that level in my career now where everyone you fight's good. Everyone you fight brings is going to bring strengths to the table that you have to deal with, and for me, it's about making sure I perform to my best ability on the night, which will give me the win.
Yeah, so when you're watching tape on him, which fights do you look at to game plan for him?
Try and look at his most recent ones. Like, to be honest, like there's no point in going back watching footage from 3, 4 years ago because people evolve and they get better and progress from there. I won't watch too much tape. I'll have a gander. I'll let my coaches do it. I'll think of areas like I can isolate that I'm going to work on for the training camp. So I'll do it at the start of camp. Right, I feel the fight that's going to take place in this area. This area. These are the things we can expose, and then it's just about leveling up my game. I think, and like you know, I'm at the stage of my career. Like I'm 35 now and I'm got this car I'm not going to get a new car. I've just got to like fix the little dents and the chips in it, and maybe, freshen up some paintwork, and I'll be good to go. So that's all my focus now, just about improving this car and making it as good as possible.
Yeah. So do you think that you outclass him in any areas?
I feel like I'm better in areas. I do feel like it's going to be competitive in all the areas, but I feel like I'm going to have the advantage everywhere on the feet, in the grapple, and in the ground. Like I'm experienced black belt now. I've done a lot of grappling my whole life, and my striking's been leveling up every time. So I feel like, it's going to be one of those fights that's competitive in all areas, but one I'll have the advantage in.
Yeah. So if you had to predict it, how do you think you're going to get it done?
I think it's going to be a game of attrition. This game, where especially early, it's going to be competitive with how strong and big he's going to be, uh, and then I feel like as the fight goes on, I'll just be able to wear down and start winning the scrambles, and letting like my fight IQ and experience take over. I'm very good at keeping a solid pace throughout the fight, so I feel like especially early on, you want to get in those competitive exchanges, which are like 50-50, because every time you leave one of them, that's going to favor me, because I'm going to be able to recover quicker and push that pace and go for it again.
Yeah. So about your past fights, I want to know about the Garcia fight for the title. It felt like one-way traffic, like you were having his life, and then you got that horrible cut, which is unfortunate. What was the vibe like when you got back to the dressing room?
Uh, I still have nightmares about that fight and that whole experience, because I feel like, that was that one time, and that thing that was meant to be and should have made me a world champion, and didn't. Like, obviously, when we got back to the dressing room, we were gutted. We were all gutted. Me, family, team. It was just like a nightmare for in MMA sport. But I always look at that and feel like that just sums up my life. That experience. But it also makes me who I am, in that I was willing to bounce back, go again. I tried desperately to get that rematch. I did everything that Octagon asked of me to get that rematch, and unfortunately, I think he's still running somewhere to this day. So it hasn't managed to happen, and I do try and put it to the back of my head now, and focusing on what's happening now and what's in front of me. But it's something that gets brought up into conversation or into my head at least weekly.
Yeah. What about Zalgas Zumagulov? Last time out, you fought him. Does fighting an ex-UFC fighter feel different in any way?
It felt more exciting.
Yeah.
Like, it was for me, Octagon is at the stage, like there was 12, 13,000 full stadium there. I was fighting a UFC vet, but to me that was like a UFC fight. Zumagula is good. There was a stat come up on the weekend, and he's the highest strike ratio per minute in the flyweight UFC history. So I'm getting to go up against there and test myself against those guys. The one thing about, I do feel like he's actually got better since leaving the UFC. And the one thing I felt like he did really well is, well, he hit hard. Like, I've been hit a few times in my career. No one felt like they hit as hard as he did. But they're the challenges again that you want. And I think he'll probably be fighting for the title next, and hopefully one I'll get to come up against and challenge again in the future.
Yeah. Who would you say that your toughest opponent to date was, like amateur or pro, like out your whole fight history?
Probably him, probably him. I've had some tough fights and some tough competition. Like Sam Creasy's a tough opponent for different reasons. He like slows the fight down to his pace, He's very patient, which is tough on you mentally when you want to just push forward and throw, and someone's like slowing everything down. So they're all tough for different reasons. But that one, like obviously, I think I got dropped in the first minute. So it was just a grind to like keep trying to push through the fight, and then I felt myself coming back into it, taking over the second round, and boom, I get dropped again. Uh, so it's one of them, like I said, and you got to expect that every fight to be the toughest. The one that's upcoming, that's in my head that's going to be the toughest.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been asked this a million times as well, but you fight with cystic fibrosis. How does that affect training?
I have to be smart. Like if I'm feeling a bit run down, I have to maybe pull it back a little bit. But to be honest, me competing with cystic fibrosis has been a benefit for my cystic fibrosis. Like when I started, like a lot of the research was not to exercise with CF, and now it's the complete opposite. You go to a hospital, a cystic fibrosis hospital, they've got a gym in it that are encouraging you to exercise. Like I went for my checkup on Monday, and they're now offering me a VO2 max that I can get done in the cystic fibrosis clinic. So like just growing up, I would be smart with it. It's obviously it's hard to put on weight because you don't absorb the nutrients in your food like normal people. Obviously, your lung function isn't as good as normal people, and there's all been all these challenges on the way. But MMA has helped my CF, and I feel like having CF has helped me with MMA because fighting's like life and life's like fighting. So the lessons and the adversities I've had to deal with cystic fibrosis, I can relate to them when I'm in those moments in a fight, and that's why I feel like everyone thinks like I don't quit, I keep pushing forward, uh, and I've got that heart of a lion, and that's because of everything I've had to go through in my life, which resembles me. And I always like to see like fighting as an expression of who I am and what I stand for. So that's why I like my fighting style to replicate that as well.
Aaron, I
Yeah.
think that's absolutely amazing, to be honest, mate. But there's one question that comes to mind, and that's: has it ever stopped you from training for like long periods of time? Or
Yeah, yeah, I've had to have like when I was 21, I went training one night, and after training, I went to work, and during work, I remember being in like agony, and I thought, because we get like sometimes we get stomach aches if we haven't digested food properly, and I had a bad stomach ache, so I went home, and it got to like 4 a.m. in the night, and I went and said to my mum, my stepdad at the time, I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. Like me stomach's bad. I thought maybe it's appendix or something, and I got there, and because of the mucus, we have thick, sticky mucus that caused a blockage
right,
uh, in my stomach. So they had to cut me open, emergency operation, remove that blockage because that was stopping the blood from flowing, and then ended up like with 9 months off with that. Uh, I've been fortunate. I've had periods in hospital which are like 2 or 3 weeks where I've maybe got an infection. I have to go in for treatment.
yeah,
But as for CF, probably since I was 20. I want to say 23, maybe. I haven't had any stays in the hospital for my cystic fibrosis. All the other stays have come with a cancer, nothing to do with CF. And I feel like the medical treatment now is improving for people with CF. When I was born, life expectancy was 16. Now it's up around 48, I think, maybe 52. So the life expectancy of people with CF is growing. The medical treatment's getting better. There's new treatment like tricatheter, which has come out, which basically turns on the faulty gene, uh, which causes the CF. And I feel like now kids being born today with cystic fibrosis will be able to live a normal life
yeah,
as they grow up because of the medical treatment. So, like I said, I've had times where it has knocked me back, but also because of pursuing professional sport as a footballer, mixed martial artist growing up, I've always been like into healthy eating, looking after my body, training, and I feel like that's stood me in good stead now for when this new treatment has also come out as well. I'm able to capitalize on it with healthier lungs than maybe if I hadn't exercised and I hadn't trained and been pursuing this life.
And you touched on it there, Aaron, your football career. Could you just talk us through that? Sort of. I mean, what level did you play at first of all? Did you play academy or pro?
Yeah, played academy. I was also played internationally. I played for Wales. I had a few caps for Wales as a under 19, under 17, under 16
Wow,
level. Played with like Aaron Ramsey,
wow,
Joe Allen, Neil Taylor. I was in a squad with Gareth Bale once.
oh,
So
wow.
got to travel. Actually, the last time I was in Slovakia before my last fight was playing for Wales against Slovakia as like a 15-year-old kid.
That's madness. Yeah. So,
So
how old are you, Aaron? You're 35.
35 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would have been probably the similar age group, wouldn't you, to Bale and
Yeah, well,
Ramsey?
Bale was a year older than me, but for 1 year they played me in the year above. So I got to
Right,
play in his squad with him. But like Aaron Ramsey and Joe Allen, they were my age.
right.
So they were the people I was playing with and stuff.
And what made you stop football?
So when it comes to giving out pro contracts at the club I was at the time, I'd been there since I was a kid. I was captain. I was top goal scorer. You had to go and live with them. Uh, you had to go and like live there, move house, and basically uh, between the lines, they didn't want to take a risk of having someone with cystic fibrosis like under their care full time with not knowing what could go wrong. They said they'd had someone previously in the past with asthma, which is a bit different.
Yeah,
Uh, yes, and it was too much of a risk for him. But back then, I remember if you would like Google cystic fibrosis, everything that would come up was like negative, like
yeah.
life expectancy 16, in and out of hospital. So I just feel like maybe the coach at the time have like Googled that and thought, fuck that.
They don't want that
Uh,
risk. Yeah, they don't want
yeah,
that
so
risk.
like
Yeah,
that's why. And then after that, I come back to Wrexham because they'd been after me for a few years, but they'd already give out their full time contracts to their youth team. So they ended up taking me on a part time contract,
right.
which was 3 days a week training, the rest in college learning. And then during that time, my uncle started taking a class for mixed martial arts. Uh, so I started going to that and I started doing football and MMA. And then from Wrexham, I went to Kevin Druids, who at the time were in the Welsh League, the Welsh Premier League. So I was playing Welsh Premier League football. But I was turning up to football and like thinking, oh crap, what am I missing at MMA training? And then it got to a point where I started doing both, but then we were like traveling 4 hours to play on a Saturday, and I didn't enjoy the football as much as when I was like at Wrexham and my previous clubs because it was a lot
Yeah,
more long ball and stuff, and like I just fell in love with MMA. Started come to that making that transition. It was almost forced, but not forced as well. But I'm grateful for the times. I still miss football, but I wouldn't change or go back now. This is
no,
what I'm meant to be doing.
no 5-a-side or 6-a-side for you.
No, to be fair, I'll play with my mates. Like if nothing's coming up, but I'm literally with training and coaching. I'm in my gym 5-6 nights a week. I did, funnily enough, after the cancer, I re-signed with in like the second league in Wales and started playing for a bit. But literally, I'd like go to training in the morning. We'd spar on a Saturday morning. I'd drive back to football. Sometimes I'd miss the first 20 minutes, and the manager would like bring me on after 20 minutes and sub someone else.
Sub you straight on, top
Yeah,
someone else off.
and I
Yeah,
was like, oh, I can't be doing this anymore. So yeah, I'll have a game if everything works out free though.
fair play, mate.
Yeah. Have you been able to train with any of the stars from the UFC while you're in the UK? Like, you ever been down Leon's gym or anything?
I've never been to Birmingham with Leon Edwards. I've been fortunate to do some bits with like Lerone Murphy, Mokayev.
Have you ever been to Richard Shaw's gym? You know, Open Elliott.
No, we have had. I have had a few conversations with them and Brett Johns about going down there for time. They're actually not close to me. They're 4.5 hours. But I have spoke to him. Like I speak to Brett. I have spoke to him about going down before. But like I said, I've got so much good training around me, and having to like I coach in my gym 5 nights a week and on a Saturday morning, so I'm always there as well. I've probably got coming up to like 20, 25 fighters now competing under my gym as well. So it's sometimes just getting the time, and maybe one time I will go away, but no, nothing. I've never like been to Jack Shaw's or Richard Shaw's gym. No.
So as a coach, is there like any fighters from your gym that you think we should be keeping an eye on, like who could be coming up in like the next year or two that like really stand out to you?
Yeah, I've got a few, to be fair, who are coming up. A lot are just either turn pro, or looking to go pro in the next 18 months. I feel like this team I've been building over the past 3 or 4 years. They all like started with me, and we're kids. Like I've got one kid at the moment who's fighting for his first amateur Grand Prix belt, and he's 5-0 at the moment. He's going to be really good, and then there's a lot of good experienced names coming up. There's another one who's 18 months, and he's fighting for a Grand Prix belt. There's people going to be turning pro. So there's a lot of big names that'll be coming through IPC Wrexham in the future for sure.
Can we get some names?
So names I'll go through. So we got the likes of Ollie Morris, Daniel Hughes, Jacob Wilmot, Richard Vernon, Callum Guest. I got a good kid who's 16, Cameron Lee Griffin, who's he just fought 4-1 at the moment. He's still fighting amateur B. So there's some good names. But then there's also others like who are coming through 16. Kyan Moss. I've had Kieran Edwards, who's UKFC welterweight champ as well. There's a lot of people who've got like really good amateur careers, and if they can commit to it, they can go on to being pro. But I like think of the team now, like some of them are 2-3 fights in, like the likes of Dion Williams, Cy Porter, who have fought, and like Cy had this amazing walkout. But there's a lot of good names coming through, and I feel like because we're like a small town, Wrexham, they're all pushing each other and helping each other to level up and keep growing and improving.
Yeah. So last thing I want to ask you before I let you go, how do you think that Max Holzer versus Deniz Ilbay is going to play out?
Like I know Max is Mohammed Wali's training partner, so I should be going against him because
Yeah.
I seen he was picking Mohammed to beat me. But I think Max wins. I rate Max. I do like him. Obviously, he got a win over one of my guys, Corey Fry. I feel like Dennis has really good striking and is the better in the striking department. But I feel like Max is well-rounded MMA game. He'll be able to get the fight to the ground and get a finish.
Nice. Anything you want to add, Craig?
No, all good. Listen, really appreciate your time, Aaron. You're a top man.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care, mate. Good luck.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Saturday.
Good luck, mate.
Take
Bye.
care.
Good luck,
Bye-bye.
mate. I'll see you later.